Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, so today I'm going to be performing presenting my portfolio. So, first of all, before I start, I want to introduce myself. My name is Shafi Rahman Hafizavi Hamza, but I'd like to be called Nova from here on and above. So, from to start off with my portfolio, I want to give you my cover for the portfolio, since the portfolio is kind of like a book, you know. So this is going to be the cover. So as you can see, this design was inspired by a Pinterest design, but I can't really crap my mind to remember who was the designer. I'm sorry, but she was an Indonesian person, and this inspired my whole design. As you can see, Nova's Portfolio 2026 edition, with a character going out of the O like it's a portal. And over here, let me do something first. Give me a sec. I think just close this. There you go. And then we have also, of course, the header and the footer, Portfolio Nova 2026, and this just means 3D animator or a animator. And over here, I have a few things that I am not too good, but I would say I'm better than the average person at doing it. And then after the cover, of course, comes the spine. As you can see, the spine is kept simple. Portfolio Nova, Nova 2026, and Surya the Animeta, which is basically just the same thing as the header, but rotated. And then for the back cover, I just decided to put the face of the character that I made before, seen going out of the O, and just put it here, since I thought it looked nice. So now that we're done with this, we'll go to the next section of my portfolio, which is everything that's inside the portfolio. So first of all, as any book, it will start off with its list of contents, which consists of everything that's going to be inside of my portfolio. So first of all, to start off the portfolio, it will be started with the profile, where it will be introducing myself so everybody or people who want to know me will know what I do and how I do it, or maybe who am I as a person. And after that, it will go to IT, where I explain most of my IT projects, or specifically my favorite IT projects and how I completed them, or maybe how they work. And then going next after IT is my English projects, where I performed or where I placed four of my English projects from 2025 to 2026, which is from ninth grade. And then after English, you have Dinia, where I presented four of my Dinia projects ranging from 7th grade to ninth grade, which is posters and mind mappings and animations and also Sirah videos. After that, after Dinya, we'll go to certificates, where I explain the most of the certificates that I got, but in this occasion, I only had one certificate. And after certificates, I'll be explaining my experiences. On to the next page. First of all, we'll show the whole thing, which is a profile. Well, as explained before, the profile will be explaining who am I as a human. Let's just check it out. So of course, it's just using the same template as the one I used for the cover, since I thought the design looked cool. And then explaining a few things that I can do, but I'm not too good at, not yet, please. And then introduction down here. So first of all, I have profile and career and contact. My name is Shafir Rahman Hafiz Hamza, but you could call me Nova. And then I'm from Bogor, Indonesia. My phone number is +62 uh, 895 4008 90072. Eh, yeah. And after my email is my full name until the Z of Nofi Hamza. So shafirahmanhafiz@gmail.com. And then my education, I'm currently now in SMP EDN boarding school, Pamijahan Bogor. And then my work and organization experience, since I don't have a work yet. So it's just my organization experience as a SMP or junior high school student. I have my OSIS English department. I've ever became an OSIS English department ranging from 2024 to 2025, and from 2025 to 2026, I became a OSIS Islamic department, or now called DEPAMI. And then here is me explaining a few things about myself, and also here are my software skills. I can make simple and more complex games in Scratch. I can design in Figma and also animate in Blender. And my interests, you can't really see this, but it's 3D animation and animation as a whole, design, art, illustration, and also, yeah, that's all. And then on to the next page, which is the IT chapter. So, as explained before, I'll be presenting 4 of my favorite projects. Now, this has to be one of my favorite projects. On 7th grade, this was the final project, which was Galaxy Rangers, where I made a game about, the typical ad that you have a spaceship and then you shoot the enemies, but this time they're shooting asteroids that are gonna destroy you. So it's quite simple. You just hold space and then move your mouse. Or there's another version of the game that I made that uses your what's the name, arrow keys, and then by doing damage you can get money to buy more damage or buy a super engine. Having 20 super engines will help you escape the matrix and escape the forever loop of destroying asteroids. On to the next project, which is Number Slayer, my most recent and favorite project, which is my final project for 9th grade, where this game I made a game that, well, that instead of usually when an enemy has 100 HP and we attack it and the attack is 50, later the HP will be minus by the 50 attack that we have. But this game works differently. Instead of minusing it, we add it up. So maybe the enemy's HP is 5. If you attack it with positive 5, it will add to 10. But if you attack it with negative 5, 5 plus negative 5 is 0. So it cancels out and the enemy dies. An enemy can have negative HP, so this makes a new challenge and makes it more complicated for the players to play and learn how to count math fast. Next project is the calculator from 9th grade also, where I made a calculator that can count the area of a circle, square, triangle, parallelogram, and most of the basic shapes, and then also making 3D shapes, accounting 3D shapes such as a cube, rectangle, a cuboid, sphere, cylinder, what's the name? What's the cone, and many others. Onto the next project, we have a PC setup, which is just cool 3D things, which I made in Spline, but I would not recommend you guys use Spline because it is very, very buggy and heavy. I would recommend you to use Blender, but on this occasion we were forced to use Spline, where I made a not bad PC setup, but this could have been better than a simple 3D setup. But as I'm going to become a 3D animator, this has to be a project that I can be proud of. On to the next chapter, which is the English chapter. So for the English chapter, I'm going to be performing 4 of my English projects that were performed when I was 9th grade, which is this year. And then first of all is giving argument about policies, specifically plastic bottles. So I'm giving a argument about the school making a policy to not be allowed to bring one-time used plastic bottles, instead bringing a tumbler. I agree on that because by using tumblers, we reduce the overall trash that is outputted, while we ourselves not using one-use plastic bottles are not affecting the world, but us inspiring others to do the same might make a little bit of a dent to the plastic bottle usage in the world. On to the next project, which is lecturing about tech. So I lectured about how technology and teenagers have has a good connection and a good synergy, but most teenagers right now instead use it for bad or useless things like just scrolling or maybe making weird TikTok dances. And then I'm lecturing about how you must use it for good instead of useless and informationless things. On to the next one, which is my study plan and a career plan, the presentation. Well, for my future job, I plan to become a full-time indie animator for my own series and also a bigger company, maybe copying something like Musarara. And then on this occasion, I presented how I should or I could do it. Now, this is still a bit crappy, so it's not the best presentation, but it's something or a picture to follow. Instead, I can just sketch around the picture and then maybe get around and get somewhere to how I planned, but maybe not perfect because we're all human. On to the last project on the English chapter, which is the speaking test, where my teacher asked me a lot of questions using English, where I had to answer them also using English, as the name Shikis is a speaking test. So I got asked around, I think, 30-ish questions about a lot of things, and then it had to be about the span of 25 minutes. And then on to the next chapter, which is my Dinya projects from 7th grade to 9th grade. Each year I took one project, except from 9th grade I took two projects which are both videos. First of all, my first poster that I've ever made, which is the Akida poster about Shirik. That the poster says do not do Shirik because Shirik is haram and everything. That I'm sure you know everything about Shirik. So as the poster suggests, do not do Shirik because Allah will get mad at you if you do Shirik. From An-Nisa 36. So on to the next project, which is the mind mapping, where where with this project I explained about everything that has to do with the 5 times prayer, where, like, Subuh, Zuhr, Asr,